Hi, today we're working through a slow flow. We're going through a series of movements to stretch, strengthen, stabilize, and mobilize your body. This is not an intense practice, but there are a few challenges, so we're going to take the first few minutes to warm up, mobilize, and giving you a chance to check in with your body. Starting with some wrist mobility work, rocking from side to side, forward and backward, and palm lifts. Primal movement patterns are the 7 fundamental movements that develop in the uterus and continue through infancy. These include twist, push, pull, bend, squat, lunge, and gait. Next, sit back to a kneeling position, interlace your hand behind your back and stretch your chest and shoulders. Bow forward, lifting your arms overhead, then sit back tall, placing your hands on the floor behind you. Open your chest to the ceiling. Repeat this a couple more times. So why do we choose primal movement patterns? The goal for human movement is to obtain as much efficiency and proficiency of movement as possible. These 7 fundamental primal movement patterns are essential for navigating life effectively. Now, take some time focusing on flexing and extending your spine. You can do this from a kneeling position or from your hands and knees. Coordinate your breathing with your movement. Exhale as you round your spine and inhale as you open up. Traditional strength training involves building strength in one muscle group at a time. Functional strength training focuses on larger body movements that aim to move a variety of muscle groups and helps to maintain balance and stabilization in other areas of the body through the engagement of the neuromuscular system. So, functional training serves to better prepare the body for activities that occur in our everyday life. Maybe try tucking your toes, rocking forward and backward, lifting and lowering your knees, stretching your feet and back. Now sit back to a kneeling position. Next, perform about 10 alternating rotational reaches. Rotate through your shoulders. Come back to the center. We're going to perform some alternating half kneeling step outs. From your low kneeling position, step out and glide forward to a half kneeling stretch, sinking down to the front hip. Alternate from side to side. Check out different angles to find the stretch that feels best for you. Keep your shoulder back and chest open. Now it is about time to go into our flow. We're going into a series of positions, holding each for about 30 seconds. Within that time, I encourage you to be creative, play, adding any other movements and variation that feels good for you. Start with a push-up plank. Keep your legs and glutes strong. Engage your core, pelvis tucked and arms locked out. Breathe normally. You can also try to rondé your right foot to the right, left foot to the left, to mobilize your hips. Next, raise your hip to upward facing dog. Pedal your feet, sway your hips and shift your weights in different directions. Explore the positions to find the stretch that feels best for you. While the fancy machines in the gym may make one specific muscle group independently stronger, it neglects the whole in favor of a part. As you can see, there's a real-world application for incorporating these fundamental movements into your fitness program. Next, step one leg forward into a high lunge. Imagine our primitive ancestors. Their lifestyle would include multiplanar movements that incorporate the 7 primal movement patterns. Daily living for our early ancestors involved squatting, bending, and pushing. They often have to pull their body weight to reach the top of the trees. The competitive nature of hunting requires a strong gait for movements such as running and the ability to lunge to navigate unsteady terrain, and to provide the momentum necessary to propel spears and chop wood. Twisting motions were common in everyday living. As you can see, this is a real-world application and it's beneficial for us to incorporate these fundamental primal movements into our routine fitness program. In the high lunge, rotate your body into a side-to-side squat shifting. Now transition into a tripod position, hovering off the ground. You're balancing on your hand and your opposite foot. Make sure those 2 points of contact are strong, stable, and your weight is balanced between them. Switch side on your tripod hold. Remember to keep your support arm locked out, actively pushing the ground away, and don't slouch into the shoulders. Now gently touch down with 4 points of support, coming into an inverted position. Lift your hips and extend one arm into a bridge reach. Now switch sides with your inverted bridge reach. Now return to 4 points of support. Walk your feet in closer to your hips, transition into deep squat. Rock from side to side, opening your chest out. Now transition to standing, cross back, side stretch. Step one leg behind the other and across the midline. Reach the same side arm overhead and flex laterally. Find your balance and sink down into your legs to deepen the stretch. Now switch over to the other side to repeat the cross back side stretch. Now step out into single leg hip hinge. If you feel strong and stable here, you can challenge your balance further by rotating your torso to face the other side. Now switch side. Now step your feet together, fold forward, pivoting from your hips into a standing forward bend. Now bend your knees and lower your hips as you transition to the ground into a kneeling position with your arms posted on the ground behind you. You can also try reaching your arm out to the opposite side to stretch your torso. Now sit your hips back, extend your legs out into a straddle stretch. Next, swing your legs together and transition into a side plank, any variation of your choice. Now switch side. Now lower your hips to the floor and transition into a pigeon stretch. If you like, you can deepen the stretch by resting your forehead on your arms. Now switch over to the other side. From here, transition to a prone spinal extension. Now transition into the child pose to stretch your glutes and your lower back. Now we finish off where we began in a full plank position. This brings us to the end of this low flow routine. I hope you are feeling amazing. Thank you so much for moving with me today and hope you have enjoyed this session. And please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. See you in my next video.